What's up, everybody? Welcome to Crafter Hours. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again with another stream where we get together and try to build something from scratch. Sort of from scratch, I guess. I mean, we've been working on some stuff over the last few weeks, and we've been having a good time. So I'm looking forward to getting back to it today. It's been a weird few days. I wasn't able to do the System Crafter stream on Friday because I had a stomach virus, and then both kids apparently have the flu now, which means I have the flu too, sort of. I may sound a little bit different because of that. Sorry, it's just the way it is. But I feel okay. I feel good enough to continue on with the project. And I had some time to do some investigations into a few new things that we'll talk about today, which should be pretty interesting. Also, you might notice that the stream layout stuff is back. This is actually... All right, so are we back? What just happened? Yeah, I think it keeps going in and out. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully that stops. I'm keeping an eye on it. Let me see if it's like CPU usage or something. Nope. All good on that front. I don't know if the internet is having issues today. I mean, it's been raining. And the strange thing is that anytime it rains in Athens, the internet seems to start going out. And I have no idea why that is. Maybe they don't do a good job of insulating their fiber optic cables or something. I don't know why fiber optic would be affected by rain, but something in the mix is getting screwed up by the weather. That's for sure. So anyway, what was I saying? I don't know how much you missed what I was saying, but here we are. So let me see. Today I have to stop a little bit early. So around, geez, probably about an hour and 45 minutes from now. Give me 1 second. Okay. So yeah, actually you can see that things are going so super smoothly. All right, so I want to not waste too much time here because there may be people coming to watch this that are interested in one of the things I'll be discussing, and I don't want to waste a lot of time. So just to give everybody a recap on what we've been doing so far, in the Crafter Hour streams, we've been working on a new website project from scratch using Guile Scheme as the backend language. And the goal is to create a website that indexes all the available Emacs packages and enables people to go and list which packages they use and also give tips about the packages that they use so that they can share them with other people. So I don't know, it's just sort of like a community thing. It's not really going to be like the best website in the world, but it's just something to do to show like a real world web application written with Guile Scheme using SQLite as a database. Sorry. Yeah, SQLite as a database, and using Guile fibers for concurrency on the website or on the server side. So it's been a fun project so far. I've been really happy to be getting some contributions, which we'll take a look at in a moment. And we're going to continue on with the development of that today by adding some more features to the site, specifically around user-authored tips for packages. Now, we're not going to wire the whole thing up yet, but I did want to demonstrate an interesting JavaScript library that I just came across a few days ago called Datastar. And if you haven't heard of Datastar, which you probably have not heard of it yet, unless you've been following Hacker News, It calls itself a hypermedia framework. It's basically like HTMX, but I would say it's better in a lot of ways. In fact, it was quite easy for me to get started using it. The benefit of a library like this is that you can drive the majority of your interactivity of your website from the back end, because it's all HTML fragments that you're you're sending HTML from the server to the client for it to be rendered, and then the interactivity actually turns into more HTML fragments that come back from the server. So you basically have to write 0 JavaScript code on the client side to have a nice interactive website. And you can do full single page apps. We're not going to go full single page app. We're going to have, a more traditional style of, excuse me, web application where you navigate between pages, but there will be elements that are dynamic, like the tip submission form, things like that. Yes, like HTMX, but better. It's written by a person who used and contributed to HTMX, but felt that it didn't really solve the things that they needed, so they went and did their own thing. And I don't know, I quite liked the design of it better than HTMX, and I've had fun experimenting with it the last few days. So we're gonna try to use it on this project just to see, if it works out. But what I like about it is that it enables me to spend more time writing scheme code and also generating templatized HTML fragments using SXML. So you get to use all the benefits of Scheme and then drive your entire web application and user interface from that. So that's sort of the benefit that I see of using this. And we're gonna look into how to put that together on a page as we get through what we do today. So hopefully people are excited to see that. I'm excited to play more with it because it's pretty fun. Oh, it looks like the chat bot has ping timeouted. Ping timeouted. That is official lingo. Let me start the chat again. Yeah, my internet definitely died for a moment. So let me just go ahead and close this page so it doesn't drive everybody nuts. Let me know at any point if the screen is not very readable, because I've, kind of squished it down a little bit to fit into this frame. Okay, let me refresh the chat widget. There we go. So, yeah, last time we, let's see, what was that? That was a Wednesday, last Wednesday. Yeah, we haven't been back since last Wednesday. We created basic routes and views and schemas for the user type. So we started working on user logins last time, which we did make some progress on. We're not really gonna fool with that too much today because we're gonna just jump straight into the other stuff. And then we'll kind of tie it all back together at some point, maybe tomorrow. The next stream will be tomorrow because I had to skip Monday due to illness in the family. The schedule this week is today and tomorrow for the Crafter Hours stream. So provided that nothing goes horribly wrong between today and tomorrow, we'll have a stream tomorrow morning as well. It could also be at the same time. So first, before we get into anything, let's go check out the submissions we've got. I know there's a couple things in there that we need to take a look at today. All right, so I looked at Peter's submission last time. We will go back to that at some point. Let's see. Excuse me. Poor V sends a few pull requests. Trev says the only thing that can cure you now is a hot beverage from the PowerShell mug. No. Is the chat kind of slow whenever it kind of fades in? I need to keep an eye on that. All right, so a basic logger implementation. That's cool. Let's see. Good to have the new line automatically added for each log level. I would agree with that. Every log prints on new line only. Log messages look pretty nice. All right, let's take a look at what the actual code looks like. Logger module being added, log info, logger term, ANSI color. Is that something that actually comes with, wait. Yeah, we're not adding anything. Is that something that comes with Guile? I didn't know that, if so. Log with color, level color, colorize string, log debug, apply format, f args. Yep, okay. Nice. And I do like the fact that we are doing this as procedures, because then you can pass these procedures to other things. Instead of having it be like a parameter that you pass into a procedure to say what the log level is. So I do appreciate that design. Also like that we're not exporting log with color. Cool, looks good. I wonder if it would also be nice if you could kind of like turn off colorization, but I don't even know if that's necessary. All right, so here we are, extracting all of the information from the request so that we can log everything, and we are wrapping it with call with values. Lambda handler context body. Let's see if handler. Okay, so what we're doing here is it seems we are creating the response in one place. But why though? If list response headers. I'm not sure what this part's about. Oh, log the response code? Okay. Makes sense. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to talk about something interesting I learned about Guile's HTTP server libraries at some point. Okay, cool. Well, I like this. Thank you for sending it. All right, let me merge that. All right, next is command line arguments for sync archive script. So let's see. Simplify using match. Let me just read what's the latest, I guess. Chat overhead is chopped on the right. Yeah, I had changed how things are laid out there, and I think I screwed it up, so I'll have to adjust that a little bit. Options, help message, delete the existing database before continuing, verbose output. Yeah, so that looks, let footer match, okay. Arg, cat or args, match arg or help, yeah. Yeah, I think I saw Trev mention somewhere that maybe we should be using the opt-args parser. So I don't know if that's something we should do eventually, but I'm good with this as a basic thing. So my general strategy here is for things like scripts, just not to really try to overdo it until it seems absolutely necessary. So I'm good with this for now. The match expression being the right way to do it for now, at least. Show usage. All right, cool. So that's great. Let me just go and merge that one in too. All right, next. Refactor render procedures, add navbar and some basic styling. That's cool. Let's see, looks like routes is a little bit blocked at the moment though. Yeah, I would have to see what this looks like to know. Oh, really? Okay, I missed that comment. Render page HTML, define navbar, home, login, generate page HTML, render page CSS. All right, this one I might want to take a little bit more of a look at before I merge it. So give me some time to look at this one again. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this right now because we got to make some progress before we run out of time on the stream. But thank you, Apurv. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your username, but I'm saying Apurv. Sorry for that. But yes, I appreciate the contributions. And please keep them coming, folks who are interested in contributing to the project, because I will merge PRs. I'm not going to be sitting here saying, I'm going to do all this myself, because that's kind of pointless. This is actually a community project. So I am very happy to get contributions. So let me go ahead and pull down the latest. I need to pull down the latest here as well. Let's see, VC, excuse me. Let's pull the latest on this. Unstash, what? Edited live streams. I don't need that. I've forgotten how to, let's see, VC revert. Yes, discard changes. Thank you. All right. Got to turn on keycast tab bar mode. There we go. All right. So make sure we can get into the crafter hours notes. Let's add the notes for today. So this is Wednesday, February. It's the 5th. So let's see. Let's see. Draft out package tip authoring experience with. Are the notes version controlled? Yeah, they're on the System Crafters website. So if you go to the systemcrafters.net repo on Codeberg, if you check out codeberg.org/systemcrafters/systemcrafters site, it's going to be under content and crafter hours right here. And that's the org file for that. Tip voting. No, let's do it individually. With Datastar, add markdown formatting, add tip voting. And we're not going to do anything with logged in user information yet, and we're also not going to do anything with SQL yet. So no users, no SQL. We're just going to spec this out a little bit to see if we can get it working, and then we will go wire everything back out. So that probably will happen tomorrow whenever we have that stuff ready to go. All right. So let's get started. I actually need to pull in some code. Let's see. It's 8K6A. That's not right, is it? Capital K. It makes a difference, apparently. There we go. All right, so I've already, excuse me, been experimenting with a project on this. Let's see, where am I going to grab this stuff from? So I had to do something interesting here. So one of the parts about Datastar that is interesting is that certain things you do with the library require you to make requests to endpoints on the server, and those endpoints need to return server-sent events. Now, this is not something where you actually have to keep a persistent connection open. You can. It's not possible to do that right now with Guile. But that doesn't matter because Datastar doesn't require you to have a persistent connection open for using the server-sent event output. Server-sent events are pretty easy to implement because it's really just a response MIME type plus a specific text format that you write back. So I'm very sorry. It's not a good day. So we can really easily write out server-sent events in a response and have it power the Datastar UI. And I'll explain a little bit later why that's actually a really interesting thing. and enables us to do some advanced behavior that might surprise you a little bit when it comes to writing web applications with a dynamic backend and dynamic interfaces. So let me just copy this stuff right here. I'm going to drop it into the project under source/datastar.scm, because I think that ultimately some of these things will end up being a separate library. One thing's, if I'm going to spew, no, I'm just going to keep coughing my guts out. There are libraries for Datastar for various languages like Go, Zig, Rust, PHP, etc., which sort of encapsulate some of this backend behavior that you need to implement. We will probably end up writing one for Guile as well. It's very, very simple stuff. It's nothing that complicated. So if people are interested in using Datastar with Guile, then it would be good to have a library out there that people can just pull into their own project and use. So, I should probably pull in AppleReview's changes before I start doing this too, but let me just first get this started. So define module Datastar. And I'll leave it at that for right now. We may need some other stuff too, but one thing I'll do is grab this script tag and turn it to a little function here. So define so I don't know if that needs to be a procedure, but I'm going to leave it as a procedure for now, just in case we need to change anything. The idea being that we need a way to inject this into the SXML of a site template. So I just need a procedure for that. So I'll just set it to define public. Publics. All right, so we'll take this render page out. We'll take this out as well. And then we do need this write SSE event, because that's sort of how we're writing our server sent events. That won't be public though. What we'll try to do is provide an API internally. We'll provide an API that wraps some of the behavior that is needed. So if I were to go look at the libraries, in fact, let's just go take a look at maybe, I don't know. Can I look at the TypeScript library? Merge fragments. Okay, so they call it merge fragments and merge signals. Whoops. They got all the code in here. Let's see, TS. Excuse me. Merge fragments, remove fragments, remove signals, execute script. Okay, so there's just like very specific things that you need. In fact, if I go look at the documentation, there is the reference and the SSE events, merge fragments, merge signals, remove fragments, remove signals, execute script. Okay, so it's only those. So merge fragments, that's one we will definitely be using first, at least. Let's see. Then write SSE event. Oh, I think we need to have the port as well. Port can be optional though, so it may not be necessary. So let's see, write SSE event. And I'll explain what this is doing in just a second. So the event is going to be Datastar merge fragments. Kind of putting the cart before the horse here a little bit. Oh, and also the code that I have here, there is a place where I do that. Datastar merge fragments. I should probably pull this in. Yep. So format F. And we're probably going to need the SXML library here. So use module SXML simple. And then I should probably pull this into the REPL too, so I can just kind of take a look at it. Whoops, not Geyser Connect, so Geyser. All right, we will do that. This one. And then fragments, we're gonna use, what was it that I was using before? Source site template, what was it? With output to string, okay. So SXML, to XML takes a port as a second parameter, so that's probably what we'll do. First, yeah, we don't need to do this format. Actually, we do. Yeah, all right, so that with output to string, I think is probably what's needed right here. And that's a thunk, right? Yeah. And this part isn't needed. That was just a little test thing. Okay, so that should be good too. Possibly wrong number of arguments to SSE write event. What it's needed next? Okay, port. Okay, there we go. So now in the REPL, let's jump into the module. So M Datastar. And next, let's see, with output to string. Merge fragments. Actually, I think this needs to be called with output string. Does anybody read Russian? Because I can't read the Twitch comment there. Call with output string. Lambda port. That will be merge fragments. Port. And then div. Only English, yes. That's all I know. I know a little bit of Greek. That's about it. All right, so ID foo test. All right, so it did right at the event. ID 1, event, Datastar merge fragments, data, fragments, div, foo, test. All right, cool. So that's good enough. All right, so no worries, no worries. Excuse me. Trev says they said hello and they installed Linux and Steam. You can't see their microphone. Can I fix the problem? No, unfortunately, I can't do that because I don't know. Linux and audio is kind of like trying to decipher the Dead Sea Scrolls or something. I'm just kidding. All right. So let me explain what's happening here. Server sent events format. Using server sent events, does it say it here? I just want to show you what the actual protocol looks like. Server sent events protocol. Maybe it's in this one. I don't know if we even need that numeric ID either, so. Come on now. Get out of my face. Was it this one? Okay. So for each event that comes back from a request, so you have a request that goes to the server and it returns that it's the text/event stream content type. And usually the client is requesting it in a certain way to let the connection stay alive, uses keep alive. We're not really concerned with that in our case. We just want to return a response that has the right format, which is one or more or even 0 potentially, event records like this. They could have an ID. They may not need to have an ID, but they can have an ID. The event type, which is important because it sort of tells the client what to do with the event. And then each line of data is some bit of information that may be used as part of the event. And there can be multiple of those. They may represent individual pieces of information, or they could represent continuations if you have like a multi-line string that you're trying to pass around. So what we're doing here is we have our own write SSE event procedure that literally just writes out the text for those things. And then we are wrapping that with higher level APIs for sending the types of events that Datastar recognizes, which it seems there's only a handful. So that's kind of nice. We don't really have to do a whole lot of work. So just to say what merged fragments means, it's basically like whenever Datastar sends a request to the server and you return a merged fragments event, that's actually some HTML that's going to be re-injected into the client side of the page. So it actually gives us the ability to add new stuff to the page or replace elements in the page. So we'll sort of see what that looks like in a little bit when we get into the implementation part. The other thing I need to do is go into my template and pull in use module Datastar. And in the head, I need to also pull in the Datastar script. And that should give us the, excuse me, should give us the power of Datastar in our app. Now, how can we actually test this out? Well, let's see. Where were we with creating the tips API? I think that we didn't actually get there yet. So site, views, tips. I think we hadn't done anything. That's right. Okay. There's another thing that I want to do also. I want to change how we do routing to make it more composable so that individual feature areas can provide their own routes. It's going to become more and more important now that we're going to have this sort of back-end interactivity. So no longer will we have the routes file that has all of the routes for the site that sort of knows about it in advance. We need to have sort of a composable list of route handling procedures that can be pulled in from different modules. So that's something that we'll have to change. Maybe not right now, though. Maybe I'll wait until a future stream to do that, just so that we don't waste a lot of time. But we will need to do that. So packages, ID, tips. All right, we got that. Let's see. All right, so package tip form handler. So what I wanted to do, I didn't actually want to look at the individual tips. I wanted it to be on the package page itself. So if we go look at packages, views, package at SEM. All right, so for an individual package page on the detailed view page, there should be a list of, yes, I'm in Eastern European time, EET. So let's see. Authors, maintainers, and then the next part would be the tips section. So I would actually put this maybe under an H3, user submitted tips. In fact, okay, let me stop for 1 second before we go farther. I need to pull in the stuff that was submitted. I'm gonna create a stash, and then I'm gonna pull in the code. All right, then I'm gonna pop the stash. Nothing stashed. Is that right? Oh, okay, it's here. It just didn't refresh the page. So what's in here anyway? Okay, there's that, and then in package. Okay, cool. We're good. So back into ANSI term. I will see geeks shell manifest at SEM scripts start server.scm. I believe that's the way to do it. All right, now that the server is up, I like the log messages already. That's great. now that the server's up, we can go back into the code, and then I can use Geyser Connect to connect to the REPL. Boom, there we go. And I don't really need that setting up right now. So we have user submitted tips. Let me go to localhost 8080. Come on now. There we go. Package listing, denote. I don't know. Just because I like denote. There might be some duplicate code in sync archive script. I made a mistake in one of the commits. Oh, that's okay. Just send another PR. That's the way to do it. So we got a little crashy here. I don't know what happened. Let's take a look at the ANSI term. Unbound variable packages detail view. Something else must have happened. Okay, unexpected end of input. That's what happened. So during pre-compilation, we had a syntax error that was not handled. Line 49, I must have forgotten to close out something over here. There we go. That's probably the problem. I'll go restart the server. M says, I like Emacs. Yes, I also like Emacs. It's pretty nice. And then I'm going to go back over to the REPL, Control-C, Control-Z to restart it. There we go. Restart this page. Cool. So user submitted tips. This is the place where we will start adding some interesting stuff. So the nice thing about something like Datastar is that you don't need to have a separation anymore between your user interface and the way that you fetch information from the back end. So people have gotten very used to this idea that you have a client-side JavaScript app almost that needs to make API requests to the back end to gather information. Well, we're going to go back to the old ways of doing things, which is you go to a web page and it's generated on the server and given to you complete. So we're going to get all the user submitted tips for a given package, and we're just going to, bake them right into the page and then display them to the user. But then the ability to add new tips is the dynamic part that we're going to add directly in here. So in this page, you'll be able to author tips for the package. So that's where things will start to get a little bit interesting. So let's see. For user submitted tips, we can just make some sort of bogus data for now. We don't really need anything super special for that. So if I were to do that, let's see, define. I'm trying to just factor this out into a function. We might move it somewhere else in a little while just to keep things clean. Let me just think on this for a second. Aunt Oneka says, is this your job or a hobby? I guess a little bit of both. All right, so let's see. Define tips for package ID. This is terrible name. Render tips for package. Let's call it that. I don't know if render is the right term either. We're just going to call it that for now. And I'm going to put some bogus stuff in here first. So for each lambda tip, and this is gonna, let's see, is that a for each that we want to do? No, we want to do a map. So map lambda tip. We also want to insert that into a div with an ID of package tips. Okay, and we're gonna use a splicing backquote. Sorry, a splicing unquote to put all this directly into the output. And for this, let's see, package tips. Do I need to have this to be like a, what would it come back as? It would come back as records from the database, which would be a vector. I'm wondering how much we might, sorry, I'm wondering how much we actually need to have intermediate objects. Can we just pull things straight from the database and be done? I guess it makes it less testable if you pull things straight from the database, because then you're really coupled to what's coming from the database. So okay, let's not do that just yet. First, models tips Okay, define public, create tips tables. We do have a tip table already. User, excuse me, package ID, content. All right. All right, so package tip, make package tip. Yeah, we already have a SQLite database. It was just, I'm not going to bother with that right now because I'm trying to get the interface working, and then we'll deal with the other aspects of this. We also need to pull in Surfy 9, I believe is the right one. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, package tip, it's ID, package tip ID. Package ID, which is package tip package ID. I don't know if ID is really the right terminology because it's really just the package name, but whatever. Package tip user, author. Author is a better word for that. We're going to call that author here for now. We need to change this to I don't know. So author and then content. All right, let's pull this in. This is scheme, Chandler. It's scheme, Guile scheme. Okay, so we got a package tip record type now. And then up here, we can pull in use module, site module, models, tips. Okay, and here we can use the information from individual entries. So I'm just gonna fake some stuff right now. So let's just try to create some fake packages. Sorry, some fake tips. So make package tip. And the ID would be and then the content would be this package is great. All right, so we got that. Render tips for package, lambda, bad lambda form. Oh, right, sure. All right, so now I need to have a div. Okay, and then inside of that, we need to have a couple different things here. So div ID, package tip. Oh, we also need to have like a date. Wonder what would be the right terminology for like a created and updated, because maybe they would want to even update, like edit their tip at some point. You would want to see when it was created, maybe, or last updated. Last updated, okay. We'll have to add this in here. SQLite timestamp. Date and time functions. Actually, let's go right here, data types. Real integer. Okay, Unix time. Okay, we can use Unix time. I guess you can also use the ISO 8601 strings as well. There we go. We'll have to change the stuff. But that's for later. All right, let's re-eval the record type then. Oh, we haven't exported any of this stuff either, so we're gonna have to do that too. Export, make package tip, package tip ID, package tip, package ID, package tip author, package tip update time, package tip content. Also package tip, probably a good idea. All right, so we've got that. Unbalanced parentheses, sure, makes sense. Okay, re-eval everything, got it. So now back over here, we can, let's just do some real simple stuff. I don't care too much. Format F. Package tip author tip. Actually, we also need. Yeah, we'll take care of that in a second. We'll just do plain text content for now. Okay, got that. Let's see, wrong number of arguments in form. Okay, cool. Yeah, makes sense. Guile time. Current time, and that's a number of seconds. All right, cool. So then here we can say current time. Unbound variable package tip content. Package tip content. Let's go back here. Package tip content is there. We're going to have to re-import probably to get those symbols in here, which means re-evaluating the package, the module header. Let's see. Still possibly unbound variable package tip content. Actually, let's do Control-C, Control-B. Control-C, Control-B. Still saying possibly unbound variable package tip content. Did I do something wrong? Package tip content. Package tip content. It says the right stuff. Models tips. Site models tips. It doesn't complain about excuse me. Oh. Is that why? That's really strange. It doesn't complain at all about package tip author. Oh, look at that. Little typo. Be nice if Guile had told me that. All right, so that's fixed now. All right, so render tips for package. Got that in here. Let me just re-eval this because I don't trust that it's going to work. Render tips for package, and then I'm going to go drop this back in over here as render tips for package, and that's ID. All right, we re-eval that, and if I go back to the page, in theory, it should be, where is it? All right, here we go. So we got our tips showing up, which is cool, and it's very basic. Okay, it needs some work. It needs some visual styling work. That's okay. We're not really too worried about the styling aspect right now. So here's where things get interesting. We could try to add a button for creating a new user submitted tip. So this is where Datastar comes in. So let's look at a couple things here. So there are ways to show things. All right, button data show. Whether an expression evaluates a true or false. So let's take a look at this. User submitted tips. We can have a button. And also we need a signal somewhere else above. So I think data signal, or do you even need to create a signal beforehand? Maybe let's just leave it like this. So button. Show form, I guess. Whoops, I forgot to add the data show aspect of this. So the data show attribute can be used to show. Oh, let me just mention one thing for people who haven't looked at Datastar yet. The reason why it's called Datastar is because a lot of the behavior that is attached to elements in HTML is done through these data hyphen whatever attributes, because data hyphen is like a special namespace of attributes that you can do whatever you want with. So it's data star, star meaning anything that sort of comes after data hyphen. That's why it's called data star. So we're using these various different attributes that have special meaning that the library can pick up on to hook in some behavior. So, excuse me. So we are checking for a signal, which is basically like some local state for this element. So show tip form equals empty. I don't know if I can use hyphens in the names. Guess we'll find out in a moment. And we can also have a form. So the button will be create tip. Let's just see. Whoa. Did I not finish something correctly? What's going on here? This actually needs to not be an evaluation. Okay, so got that. Let me go over here to our page. All right, so we got a button for create tip. If I click it, it does nothing for right now, but I can also create another div here and say data show tip form is not equals empty. Because we're basically toggling a value here. Create tip form. All right, so now I need a way to handle the click to set that signal value. Attribute, click, data on click. All right, and we can set that signal to something. So check this out. Data on click. Show tip form equals true. I don't know. All right, so now I'm gonna go and reload this page. Actually, no, yeah, reload the page. Oh, create tip form. So it's being shown. Show tip form. Is there any error? We're getting an error in the console or anything? Okay, show is not defined. Got it. Yeah, I think that it doesn't like the hyphens. Let's do it this way. So it might need to be evaluated kind of like JavaScript, so probably can't use hyphens in the name. Reload the page. Still getting errors. Show tip form is not defined. All right, so I think that we need to set this state somewhere else ahead of time. Data signals. There we go. So in the containing div, I believe I need to set a signal for the show tip form. So right up here, data signals. And it's basically like a JSON object or JavaScript object in a way. So show tip form. All right, so now that I've got that, maybe I should drop it one line down so it's easier to see. I don't know. I can go back to this page, reload it, and now the tip form is not visible. You can't see it. If I click create tip, well, it didn't do anything. Let me see why that is. Data on click. Oh, that's not an equal sign. It needs to be an equal sign. Reeval this. Go back into the page, click create tip, and then create tip form is now there. So we basically replaced one with the other. That's good. So now inside here, I can also have a button. That can cancel the creation of the tip. So data on click, show tip form equals empty string. And then we don't need this data show because it's already inside of an element that gets hidden. If I put this to cancel, in fact, I can probably just pull this up on the same line, reload the page, create tip, cancel. Okay, so yeah, we can go back and forth now between create tip and cancel. So you can already see how there is some interactivity that I can add without having to, inject JavaScript code to do this. Yes, it is a little bit weird how you have to kind of set up some state and then use these expressions inside of the attributes of the HTML elements, but you're getting to generate all this from the scheme side, which means that if you have common patterns that you use in certain parts of your interface code, it is possible for you to abstract some of these things behind your own kind of custom controls or other logic code to generate this for you. So instead of having it be like a button that's kind of a raw S expression like this, it could be a button procedure that then could say, what is the signal that it toggles whenever it clicks, like toggle button or something. So you can make your own kind of UI framework on top of all of this where you hide some of this internal boilerplate if you want to. But we're not going to do that yet. What I would like to do is try to write an interface with this and then over time figure out ways that we can simplify it and maybe make something out of it so that there could possibly be an interesting Guile-based UI framework that uses Datastar and has kind of a really simple way to express this kind of UI in Scheme. Okay. So now let's work on the actual contents of the tip form. So we got the tip form here. I don't like the fact, I don't know if you noticed it, but the when you reload the page, both the elements kind of show for a second before the page fully loads and then it pops back. I don't know if there's a way to solve that problem, but I'll have to look into that. Okay, so we want to put some stuff into the form here. So we're going to put in some input elements. I don't know if a tip should have a title or if it should just have content, but let's just go with content for now. So what we're going to do is put in text field. So HTML input text area. Text area tag. Let's see, Datastar text area. Okay, so text area. Signal placed on any HTML element on which data or input choices selected from. All right, cool. So we can data bind into a signal. All right, so this is what we'll do then. All right, and text area. I've forgotten how to do text area elements, but this is what we'll do. Data bind equals, oops. Tip content. All right, so that should push the text into the tip content state. So if I were to go back into the page, create tip. Oh, why did it hide everything else? That's kind of weird. That's weird. And then we'll have a button. Oh, it even didn't show the cancel button, which is really strange. Let me try that again. Something must have gotten broken. What did I do? Layout was forced. It's like it doesn't even show the rest of the page. Let me inspect this. Show tip form. Huh, did I... We got the div. Okay, HTML text area. I don't remember what the actual control is for that. Text area, content, ID, name, rows, columns, sure, whatever. Maybe this needed content so that it would render correctly. Let's see. Nope. Like a bug? Let me try to comment that out and see if it still does the same thing. That's weird. So when I put the... All right, let's just get this out real quick. No, we want data on click. Huh. So if I put text area in, it breaks things. I don't know why. Is it because of the data bind, potentially? Oh. Now it's working. Who the hell knows? Okay, so I need to put this in a div or something to make it be its own area. Put these in a div also. All right, there we go. So we got the ability to do that. Should I also set the width and height? I guess I'll do that through CSS. So this is a great package. If I hit submit, it does nothing right now. It just sort of makes the form go away. But this is where we can start to push things to the back end. So I can use another thing here, which is post, I think. I can post to packages. Let's see. How do I do that? Post actions quiz. I need to put the actual URL. Oh, I can do that, right? Yeah, so let's do it this way. Format, false, packages, tips. Is that right? Yeah. And then put the package ID in there as well. Okay. So we're formatting that in. We're saying data on click. We're giving the special at post. So what this at post does is it will send a post request to the specific endpoint that you're sending it to. But what happens is whenever you handle that request on the server side, you can send back events to the client to do things like change the UI, update state, etc. So we're going to see what we can do with that in just a moment. All right, so that looks good. This needs to be closed out still, though. All right, so let's reload that page. I think what we'll see is, whoop. Must be on the back end. Bad attribute button submit. Oh, right. I think I forgot to close this out. There we go. That's probably why this was out of whack. Okay, so now if I reload the page, it's back up again. Create tip, foo, click submit. And we got an error, a 500 error for packages 89 tips because we haven't actually implemented that in the back end yet. So I'll have to go do that next. All right, so site routes SEM, cool. Let's go to routes.sem. We do have something already set up for packages ID tips, but let's say package tip action handler. We're gonna change that now. And then we're gonna go over to tips on the views side. We're gonna call this action handler. Control C, Control B, so we get that in there. Reload that as well. Now, in here, we're going to pull in the Datastar module so we can return some stuff back. We may also, well, no, let's see. Let's try this first. More tips than a 90s boy band. Oh boy. You're talking about the bleached tips that was so common back then? Yes. All right, so what we need is to, well, first of all, we need to do something based on adding a package tip. This is in the views. Yeah, I wonder. We need to fake this for a minute until we get it hooked up to the database. We may actually get it hooked up to the database today, which would be kind of cool if we did. At least we can try to respond to it here. So in the Datastar library, we already have merged fragments, but we also need to have merged signals. So merge signals. Now, we're gonna take an A list of signals to merge. I also need to go look at the merge signals part here. So merge signals, it looks like only if missing line determines whether to update the signals with new values, only if the key does not exist. Update the signals with the new values only if the key does not exist. What? Okay, does it have a default value? I don't know. Let's just add it to start with. Okay. So for this one, we're going to say only if missing false. And we don't need to do anything special here. We needed to do a format for sure. So let's do this. Format F. Fragments. This is going to be signals. Now we're going to do something a little bit different here. In fact, I think we need to pull in the Guile JSON library. Do we have that in the manifest already? No. So we're going to have to pull in Guile JSON. This is the wrong module, I know. I'm going to move back over to tips. And then, oops, no, it is Datastar. We do need Datastar. Okay, so then here we can do Guile JSON. Scheme to JSON. Oh, okay, so yeah. Does it return a string directly? Cool. So we're gonna have to restart the server to get the new library in. So I'll go to ANSI term. And that's gonna pull in the Guile JSON library. That should be there now. I should be able to reconnect to the REPL. If I go back to the REPL buffer, geyser, REPL, Control C, Control Z to reconnect. There we go. Now in the Datastar library here, merge signals. If I go into the REPL again, I'm going to say merge signals. And we're going to give a little A list here. I'll say, what was it? Tip content. Ooh, I don't know. All right, so unbound variable merge signals, define public merge signals. I haven't pulled in the Datastar library yet. That's right. Okay. Here we go. Merge signals. All right. Tip content : foo. So that does seem right. Let me make sure that it's the format that the thing wants. So it doesn't actually ask for it to be with strings on the attributes. I wonder if I can fix that in some kind of configuration. Key. Pretty printed. We don't want pretty printing. I don't know if Trev is around. Trev, did you see anything in the Guile JSON library that would let you write out the objects with keys that are not strings, that are more like symbols? Because right now I'm seeing it like tip content foo. I don't know if it's going to take that correctly. Why did it drop it at the front? Unspecified. Oh, okay. So it's printing it to the current port. So port. Got it. Let me do that. Maybe. No, it needs to be like this. Okay, so here we go. With output to string lambda. There we go. There was a question in Guile JSON library. Is there a way to make the I don't even know if you can read this. Is there a way to make the keys of the object not have quotation marks around them? Do you remember? Doesn't look like it. All the output I'm seeing have question marks around the keys. I don't know if Datastar is going to have a problem with that. We're going to find out in a second, though. Let me go back here, reeval that, and then rerun it one more time to make sure that it's right. Okay, there's the JSON object. All right, cool. Oh, it's not merge fragments, it's merge signals. Okay. Now, wouldn't be JSON? Okay, sure. Maybe you're right. I don't want to have to write my own object serializer or do things manually. So hopefully it will take this and use it. Let's see. All right, signals. So now, hello, merge signals. And back over in tips views, merge port signals, merge fragments. Where did I use merge fragments? I haven't used it yet, have I? Yeah, nowhere. It doesn't on things that are coming back, but let's wait and see if it actually causes a problem. Not sure yet. So port, and then we want this to be tip content. We're going to clear it out. And we're also going to say show, was it show tip form? Show tip form, also be an empty string. All right, so on the values, oh, wait. This is under, hold up. Got it, okay. Yeah, we need to have a response. Huh. There needs to be an easier way for me to express this, because we can't be writing responses like this every time. And port should probably be optional here so that we can set it ambiently, or at least you can set it to false or something. Okay, we'll fix that in a minute, just so that it's a bit nicer. So, define public, package tip action handler, we've got that. Now if I go back over to routes, package tip action handler is here. That should work. Let's try to actually, oh, one last thing. We need to go to package.scm, data on click. Okay, so currently it's not actually going to clear it itself, so we should be able to see when it actually works. So great tip. This is a test. I hit submit. I think it must have worked. Let's go back to the ANSI term, look at the output. So post, return 200, packages 89 tips. Let me go into tips and see if we can log out what's in the body. So format T, the body is, I think I have to do that. All right, got that. Wrong number of format arguments. Boom. All right, there we go. Let's try this one more time. Show tip form true, tip content foo. Boom. Oh, thanks, Purvi. That's great. Let's do that. Log debug. Logger. Do it again. All right, so this is a new tip. Debug, the body is show tip form. Cool. So look, what happens here is when we use this post right here, this post that we're injecting into the on-click handler for the submit button, it will take the current signals, which is basically the UI state, which in our case is show tip form and tip content. We'll pass it along as part of the body of the request. So now we've got a JSON body, and it is actually using JSON form, which is good. So it tells us that we're okay using Guile JSON the way that we're using it. So it is sending us a JSON object with the contents, and I can then read that using the JSON library. So if I go back here to tips, use module JSON, let's see, signals, That is JSON string to scheme on UTF-8 to string. Actually, can I just give it a direct byte vector? Vector, byte, UTF-8. No? Okay, fine. JSON string. All right, JSON string to scheme. Fine. So that gives us the signals. And here I can say log debug. Creating new tip. We also need the package ID as well. Actually, we have that as part of the URL. Huh. Yeah, okay. We'll have to deal with that too. So creating new tip. And that would be soak ref signals. And that is tip content. Unbalanced parentheses where? Fine. Okay. JSON string to scheme. Let me reeval the module header. Okay. Now we'll go back here and reload this. Hit submit. Over in the terminal, creating new tip false. So it doesn't actually pull it. What is the problem here? Did I do something wrong? And that is going to be signals. Do it again. Huh. The chatbot died again. What's going on? Huh. Did the stream go down at all? Tip content foo. Okay. So creating a tip false still didn't actually read it out correctly. It's kind of weird, right? Let's reload the page. Tip content test, show tip form true. Huh. So we got the A list and the key. Tip content. Tip content. Tip content. Key A list. Tip content. Understand what's going on here because it's got it in there. Is it a, oh, is it because it's a string? That's why. Okay. That makes sense. Here we go. So this should give us what we need. All right. Test. All right, so we got the contents of the tip that came from the UI. So we do actually have the ability to read that information in. And now if we wanted to, we could create a new entry for the tips. There's something else interesting to do though. So normally, if you have a form like this, you would need to reload the page so that you could see the fact that your new content was, your new tip was added, but we can actually do this a little bit differently. So let's go back to the package page here. This is the render tips for package. We're gonna call this the package tips div. So with the merge fragments, we can merge it into the any div. We can merge a new div into any other div or any other content wherever we want. So I'll show you what that means. Kind of need to, excuse me, kind of need to move this though. I think this needs to be somewhere else. So we need to reuse the same rendering code. So how about this? I'm going to take this. Right here. Whoops. Render package tip. This is going to go into the tips views. Is that right? Okay. And we also need to pull in use module site models tips. Okay, and then we reeval that. That's fine now. So now we can also call merge fragments. Merge fragments port. And this is going to be a new element. So we're going to say render package tip with a new tip information. We're just going to create a fake tip, make package tip. ID doesn't really matter. One. What else was there in that? The package ID would be, we're just going to fake it for now. The name is Frank. Timestamp is current time. And the content is the tip content. I know this looks terrible. We're just kind of scratching it out real quick just to see that it works. All right. That's for merge fragments. Now we need to do a little extra work on merge fragments, in fact, because we need to give some extra fields to it. So there's fragments to merge. There is the selector, selects a target of the merge process using a CSS selector, which we do need to specify. So we're going to have this be a defined star. So we can have keyword parameters. And then we're going to have to go up here and change this to export explicitly merge fragments. Probably need both to be done like this. So let's just change it up a little bit. Because merge signals needs to have the only if missing configurable. All right, so merge fragments. We're going to say key. And the one we want is selector merge mode. And that's it for now. We don't need, oops, we don't need others than that. So I'll reeval that. I'll reeval the define to do the exports again. Now we'll go in here and add some of these things. I'm trying to think of the best way to put these in. Because you don't want to add these unless they're needed. But what we want in this case is to prepend it to the children. We want to add it to the top of the list of children. So let's say if we were calling this in tips, we say make package tip, but then merge mode is prepend. And selector is going to be package tips. which is the div that contains the package tips. So we're prepending this this div. Oops, actually that needs to go somewhere else. So right here is where those need to go. Okay. There we go. Merge fragments. Okay. And I'll just drop this down as well. That will be changed in a minute anyway, so don't worry too much about that. All right. It's been re-evaled. Everything's good. Those can be taken out. So, merge fragments, merge mode prepend, selector package tips. If those are included, I'm just trying to think of the most concise way. See, it's synchronous. Let's see. What's this most concise way to optionally add lines here into this list without having to filter them back out if they're false? I guess I could just kind of const them. It feels a little bit dirty, but whatever. Let data, and I'll make this be the starting list. Or in fact, all right, there we go. So when selector const format false selector damn, still need to set it. Maybe you're right, capability snob. Maybe. Does it work with an empty list? I mean, I guess we could check that in the terminal, right? Let's see. So if we have a backtick, foo, empty list, var. Well, how about that? So it could then be then if it's false, then it inserts nothing. Okay, that does work. Okay, let's just roll this back a little bit then. Excuse me. Okay, so there's that. And then if merge mode. What was the format for that? Merge, whoops, merge mode. Merge mode. Okay, so now we've got those two things spliced in if necessary. Let's get rid of that code. Okay, and then we can also test that back in the REPL again. Go back to the REPL. Merge fragments. All right, and then I'll go drop that into selector is foo, and merge mode is prepinned. I don't see it. Oh, I'm in the wrong wrong module. That explains why it didn't work. Still not working though. Let's see. What did I do wrong? Event data fragments. What am I missing? Okay, so it does have the right stuff. All right, so write SSE event, and that has data lines. For each of these, we're writing out data lines, which should be right. Very strange. Port. Did I do anything weird? No. Wrong type to apply. Okay. Let's do that one more time. I don't know what just happened. Still the same. It's not writing out the stuff that I expected to. Format port. Something's wrong here. It doesn't make any sense why these lines aren't showing up. I wonder if... Can I do this? Log debug. Is this going to work? Log debug lines. Do that. Didn't write anything, did it? Let's restart the server. Something weird is happening. Render package tip. That's package SCM line 35. Tips. Render package tip. Render package tip. Okay, site views tips. Probably here. I need to pull in use module site views tips. All right, got that. Let's move that up here just to make myself happy. And we're going to restart the server one more time just to make sure. All right, that looks good now. So if I were to go back into the REPL, go back into the Datastar module, try to run this one more time. Unbound variable log debug. Well, that's an improvement. Site logger. Wait, where am I? In the Datastar library. Site logger. Is that not a legit? Log debug. Unbound variable log debug. That's total BS. Still the same fragments. Look at that. Is my logic wrong? Huh. How the hell? Come on now. All right. Just shows that sometimes parentheses are your worst enemy. Selector food, data merge mode prepend. Okay, fine. Looks good. I think that's fine now. So, now that we've got it working, let's go back to tips. Merge fragments in this case should be able to insert that tip. Excuse me. Let's take a quick look at the page. Reload this, create tip. This package is kind of cool. Very sorry. Hit submit, and then boom, author Frake. This package is kind of cool. So we are able to see the new tip be inserted into the page immediately. You can just create another one if you want to. Hit submit. There you go. Now, obviously, we need to be doing the back-end work to make this work correctly as well. But if you already have the information, which we do at the time that we create the tip, then we're basically round-tripping the new UI element back into the UI right as we create it in the database, and we have everything there that we need without having to refresh the page or make yet another call to get the contents of the new tip. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a nice model for adding some interactivity to pages. There's obviously other things that need to be handled, like validation or what happens when there are errors on the server or things of that nature. But there's stuff in Datastar to enable you to do that. So I think ultimately we'll be able to do some pretty nice stuff with this whenever we make more progress on the features. So the other thing worth noting here is that we actually did send 2 events back from this handler. One is to merge that new UI element into the UI. And the other is to merge these signals. We're basically clearing out that tip content and the tip form. So when we click submit, it hides the tip form because we're sending that signal to show tip form to make it an empty string again, which triggers that logic in the page that we generated to show or hide the tip form or the tip creation button based on the value of that show tip form signal or variable, state variable. So we're able to insert arbitrary HTML into the page and change values of variables that are in the expressions that we've bound in the page at the same time. So we can do anything we want really to do all this. We can also, if you look at the SSE events, you can also remove elements from the page. So I could remove the creation form entirely if I wanted to. I can also remove signal values on the page as well. So if I've got some sentinel value that I'm using for maintaining some state, I can actually remove that entirely. Also, something you could do, which seems a little bit crazy and possibly dangerous, but also very useful, is to execute arbitrary JavaScript in the browser. So we could have a script that comes back. In fact, let's try to add that really quick. We got about 10 minutes. Let's save. Let's quickly add that just as a funny little example to show what this thing can do. I'm going to copy this and paste it. Excuse me. And I'm going to say execute script. Okay. Very sorry. There's some extra parameters here. Auto remove. Attributes, module, defer, true, script. Okay. And this is going to be script. I think we should probably do a per line thing, but let's not worry about that right now. I'll delete that. Delete that. We don't need this at the moment. I mean, we could add them just so we remember to make them parameterizable, let's say. All right. So if we've defined execute script. We've exported it. I'll go back over to tips.sem. And then here after merge signals, I'll say execute script port. We'll say, I'm very sorry, people. Alert. Created tip. This is not going to go in the actual website. We're just sort of showing it as an example. So format, false, right there. And then tip content. I should probably pull that out, shouldn't I? Okay, so excuse me, package tip action handler. Go back into the page. Hit submit. All right, it didn't do it that time. Let's see what I did wrong here. It didn't seem to give me any error saying that the JavaScript was bad, did it? Am I still on Geeks? Yes, every day. Okay, so alert, created tip. And let me make sure that the syntax is right based on what it expects. I could use single quotes instead. I don't need a semicolon at the end, it seems. Let's go to the script. Did I change that? Script. Okay, so script A. Oh, wrong. Merge signals. Execute script. That's why it didn't work. Go back here, reeval that. Wrong number of format arguments. Got to put the tilde A back in. That's good. Now we will go back here, and I think it should work this time. So create tip, test. Boom, create a tip test. So we're basically sending JavaScript back over to the client to be executed. And that can be arbitrary JavaScript. It doesn't have to just be some silly example like running an alert box. So I'm not 100% certain how that can be used, but it is something that you can use if you need to. So that is there. I'll just leave this in for now as kind of an example of usage so that if anybody wants to kind of go play around with that, they can. But I don't know, that was pretty cool, right? A good example of how you can drive a dynamic front-end experience from Scheme using the Datastar library. We're going to continue using Datastar, I think, because so far I'm pretty happy with it. It seems pretty easy to use. And like I said, over time, as we implement more things in the UI, we will be able to come up with patterns that can turn into more straightforward functions to call. And we won't have all this boilerplate stuff in our UI code or handler code the whole time. Like this whole thing right here is a little bit messy. I would like to see it be much, much simpler. And I think we can do that. I think that will be pretty easy to do once we have more examples of patterns so that we know the right way to abstract this into simpler functions. So let me just go update the crafter hours log. We didn't get to markdown formatting or tip voting. Both of those things will be very easy now that we've done the things that we have started. So those things can be added for next time. Thanks, Capability Snob. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting. I am kind of enchanted by this idea of making interfaces this way because it feels a lot simpler. Number one, you don't need to write separate JavaScript code for the client. I mean, technically, you didn't need to do that before. So, like, let's say you don't want any JavaScript at all. You can still do plain old HTML forms, right? The tip creation UI that you saw, it could just be your plain old HTML form on a separate page. You create a tip. It redirects you back to the place where you see all the tips. Sure, that's fine. You can do that, and it's fairly straightforward to do that. But I don't know. I think you can give a slightly better experience and do some more interesting things if you use a library like Datastar. So I think the addition of a little bit of extra complexity could be nice for certain things. And I want to kind of dive into that a bit more. I might make a video about it sometime soon, showing how you can make like a live updating HTML page from the back end using Datastar. So that should be pretty fun. All right, so draft.basic tip authoring experience with Datastar. We did that. Write a basic Datastar server-side event library. We did that. It's not 2205, it's 2025. Okay. Yeah. That was kind of it, right? We didn't do a whole lot, but I feel like, you know, we brought something in that is going to be pretty useful for us going forward. So I will make a commit of the code changes from today so you can take a look at those after the stream is over. I'll also commit these notes as well so you can take a look at that. And yeah, let me know what you think. And you'll definitely see some more of this tomorrow, provided that I don't have things come up that prevent me from streaming. But I think it should be fine. So we'll be back here tomorrow to... Glenn is asking in the chat, will users be able to show their own configs as examples? Yes, that's one of the features that we want to add. So we'll be back here tomorrow in case you want to see some more about Datastar. But anyway, thanks all for being here today. Really appreciate your time and attention. Until next time, happy hacking. See ya.